would go like outside the house, unaona ni kama kila mtu anakuangalia, alafu unajiambia huyu anaambia mtoto wake asikweka mimi, you know.
Yeah.
And then I'll get the child and then I'll just go home with the child. I was so naive. There's someone who commented on my video that women cannot raise boys. I was kind of offended. The thing I struggle with right now is like my identity outside motherhood.
Outside motherhood.
Yeah. But when you accept yourself in that role, that's when everything starts to flow.
Hello guys, welcome to another episode of the Ideal Parenthood podcast. I'm your host Jomboro, and on this podcast we provide a platform for parents to come share their journeys and how parenthood has been for them. And today we have a very special guest, a star on TikTok. If you haven't followed her, you need to check her out immediately. She is a single mom and she has the cutest videos with her son and the funniest that are going to give you life. So without further ado, let's get into the episode. Hey, hi Margaret.
Hi Jo.
How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. How about you?
I'm doing really good. Let's start with you introducing yourself and telling the people what you do.
Yeah, I'm Margaret Nyambura Thige, a 26-year-old single mom, freelancing. Yeah, trying to make it out of the block.
Maybe you can tell us how old your child is.
Yeah, I think most people know me as Mama Tafari.
Yeah.
So my son is Rain Tafari. He's a 4-year-old boy. Yeah.
We can start off by you telling us how this journey started out for you, from getting pregnant to where we are now.
Yeah. Okay, it was in 2020. Yeah, 2020. Just before COVID. So I had not received my periods, obviously, but I had gone to see a specialist, and they told me like I have hormonal imbalance, so I hadn't received my periods for some time, and up to 5 months. So like when I had tested severally, negative, all the tests were negative. So when I finally did for the last time, it came back positive.
Wow.
So I was very confused because I'm like, what? I don't know like the duration of the pregnancy. So I had to go for a scan. So when I went for a scan, I went with my friend. So we're there, you know, the way you lie down, there's the scan. And then she's like, oh my God. I can say it in Swahili.
Yeah.
Huyo mtoto ni mkubwa. So I'm like, what?
Nothing was showing at
Yeah,
that point.
nothing. Like I didn't have like any symptoms. Like I had never experienced nausea. My appetite was normal. Everything for me was normal. Yeah. So when I saw it, I was so shocked.
How many months were you at the time of the scan?
It was 5 months.
Oh wow, it was literally 5 months.
Yeah.
So at what point did the symptoms kick in, or did you never have symptoms?
I actually didn't.
All throughout the pregnancy?
Yeah. The bump just started showing, the baby started kicking. Like I was just living a normal life.
What did you feel once you found out you were pregnant?
I wouldn't say I was shocked, but at the same time I was kind of, wow. So where do I start? You know, like this, that uncertainty. Yeah, so I wasn't actually funny thing, I wasn't disappointed. But the challenge was like, now how do I like break it to my family? You know, my mom is like a strict mom. So that was like my biggest challenge. And of course thinking, how will people view me? You know? Yeah.
At this point, ulikuwa home ama you were still in school?
I was still in school.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, the funniest thing is that nilikuwa nimesema, you know, when you're not there, mtu anaonanga ai. So in my head, nilikuwa nasema, like, not tell anyone. I will use my savings, because then nilikuwa na hustle kidogo. I will use my savings, and then I'll get the child, and then I'll just go home with the child. I was so naive.
Oh, what ended up happening?
Sasa, less than a week later, like I didn't even have time like to process it. I the then president Uhuru said that schools have to be closed. You know, we'd be having a lockdown. Like there was the possibility of getting a lockdown in the near future. So like I had no option. Like we had to go home. And now knowing my mom, I was like, so where do I begin? So I called my aunt. And the funniest thing, like the aunt I called, she's like a nun in the Catholic Church. So I called her, and then I told her, and then now she told my uncle. Like it went like that because in our family, like we're close knit. Like I've been brought up by my grandmom, so like they're like my brothers and sisters. So like my mom was the last person now. Like wow. So in my head, I'm sure like they were like, sasa tutamwambia aje, unaona, like she's their firstborn.
Yeah.
Like she's strict. So now my uncle told me like the next day you come and then we'll know like from there. So when my mom, okay, right now my mom is so happy about it, but then like I think she didn't know what to say. She was so disappointed. She didn't even call me. Like she didn't even tell me anything.
So she learned this from your uncle.
So she didn't tell me anything. So I stayed with my uncle. And then there was lockdown, so I couldn't go home. So I stayed in Nairobi with my uncles. When it got bigger, I went to my aunt's because, you know, you need someone to take care of you. My uncle's wife is like a nurse, so she's busy most of the time. So I went to stay with my aunts. The whole time, my mom, she never talked to me. But, you know, like a mother's love me. Like she'd send money. She'd like ask my aunts, naendelea aje, you know. So I was like,
But she wasn't directly calling you. Not even about anything else besides the child.
No. I think she didn't want, like, she didn't know what to say. So maybe she thought she'd go overboard, you know, and maybe, I don't know.
At what point did you and your mom finally end up having a conversation?
So when I delivered my baby, so the next day she called me. And then she was like, mtoto wako aje, nini.
So, and then there's obviously your mom's side and the father's child side. At what time did you tell them and even breaking it to your father's child? How was that?
It was kind of scary because like when I found out I was pregnant, we had just broken up. So it was like, so at first he was like, you know, typical like university boy, like you don't know what to say. But eventually like he'd call me. So we are at home. He's at home. You see, we can't like meet one-on-one. Asking about the child. Just knowing about the pregnancy, how it's going, the delivery.
He's the one who told his parents?
Yeah.
Okay. So now you've delivered the child. You're still staying with your relatives?
Yeah, I stayed with my relative until up to like 4 weeks, close to 4 weeks. Yeah.
And then you moved out?
No, I went home.
Okay. Now to your mother.
Now I had to like face her.
How was that? Was it challenging, or did it end up just being a beautiful way of you two to bond?
It was challenging, I won't lie, because I think we were both in denial, like, you know, now you're a mother. Now, and then my mom is like, okay, now where do I start? Because, you know, like people talk, you know, and then I was still in uni, like we were like about a month to the final exam, so I was still in uni. So I went home. Now you wonder where to start. So I just go home and live my life. Like, you know, you wait for them to tell you anything, to ask you anything. But it was challenging because, you know, your mom is still mad at you. You need diapers. So you're wondering, like, how do I tell her I need diapers?
Wow. So how did that dynamic of provision come? Because you're in school. You're not working at the moment at that time. So she had to take care of everything?
Yeah, she
And you had to
did.
ask her?
I had to ask her because what else would I do?
Yeah.
So like the thing with her, like she's mad and everything, but remember the whole time she was providing, even like
Yeah.
without talking to me. So even when I went home, she'd like buy diapers, and you know, like when my child was young, like he'd use like the Pampers, you know, like Pampers is a little bit pricey, so
Yeah.
you're worried like about telling her to buy you diapers because he couldn't use soft care. Yeah, but she really fit into the role. She like bought diapers, like I'd stay home and randomly in the evening she'd come with baby clothes,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
She'd come and tell me, you know, my friend told me to give you this. Yeah, so that's how it went.
True. So she was teaching you some parenting things and also helping you with parenting.
Yeah.
At what point did your relationship become a bit more smooth? Yani, hakuna hiyo tension anymore.
So what happened is, so at this point, we are in September.
Yeah.
So our university asked us to go back to school.
This is September 2021?
2020.
2020, okay.
I delivered in July.
Okay.
So I went home August. I stayed the whole of August and partly in September.
Yeah.
So our university asked us to go back to school 4 years only for our exams.
Yeah.
So I have to go and I have to obviously carry my child. So when I go, I just sit myself down and I'm like, you know, she's fitting into the grandmother role really well, but there's still tension between us, you know. So you uko zile za, hey, now I can't go back home. Like no matter what, I can't go back home.
Yeah.
So I tell her, you just, okay, there's this month I'm doing my exams. You just pay my rent just 1 more month. I promise, just 1 more month. So, and she did. So from there, when I started like being self-sufficient, our dynamic like changed because I think I proved to her like I can do this on my own. Like I messed up, but I redeemed myself. Yeah. So from then on, it's been smooth.
How was it going back with your child back to school and you have exams?
It was crazy. It was scary. And then, you know, like there's the talk, like you just had a baby. So like my son's father also came back.
Yeah.
So like I'd go, when I have exams, I'd go, he'd stay with the child.
Yeah.
By then my child used NAN, you know NAN, the formula.
Yeah.
So I'd just leave the NAN and then I'd go do my exams, come take him, go home. So that was it. But I never used to study because you can't, like I tried, but I couldn't because that stage is when like children don't sleep. They're so dependent. So you don't have even time for your studies. Yeah. But everything went well.
You passed your exams
and I graduated eventually.
And that's amazing.
Yeah.
So you've talked about there was shame kwenda kurudi nyumbani and you're pregnant. There's shame going back to school and people are talking about, oh, Margaret just had a child. How did that affect you?
It really did because I started to shame myself. Because remember, shame starts in school, at home, like in our, you know, in the typical Nyeri situation, everybody knows everybody.
Yeah.
So even like from home, you would go like outside the house, unaona ni kama kila mtu anakuangalia, kila mtu, you know, alafu unajiambia huyu anaambia mtoto wake asikue kama mimi, you know.
Yeah.
So I started to self-shame, like to self-doubt. Niko nakaa hivi najiuliza sasa ni nini mbaya na mimi, you know, like why, like it's not that you're not educated, you know, like the precautions to take, and then sasa, you know, at that point, for most people actually, when you get your child, like the dynamics of your relationship with your partner, remember we were not even together when the child was.
Yeah.
So we were still trying to figure it out. So you are like, ata watu la sasa wanaona, it's like you're raising the child alone, you know. So I really, like my self-esteem really went down.
Yeah.
those first few years. Yeah.
Did you have somebody to talk to? Were you by yourself?
Actually, no. Like, of course, I'd tell my friends, but like in my friend group, I was the only person like
With a child.
with a child, and then like we were that typical university friend group, like. You do like typical university things, you go to parties, you do what. So now your life has completely changed.
Yeah.
So even when you tell them, they wouldn't like get it from your point of view,
Yeah.
So like I just soldiered on and
I know.
you
figured it out all by yourself.
Yeah.
Damn, that is tough. That is really, really tough. 'Cause you've been through it. What would you tell young girls who are going through this, and obviously they're going through the shame of it all? What would you advise them to do?
First of all, I'd like want to let them know like everything regarding your child starts from you.
Yeah.
So you must like focus on you. You're the mother. There's no way you'll be able to make it to make it out of motherhood if you've not first set yourself in for that role. Like most people, like even me, I struggle like to accept like I'm now a mother. I'm no longer like like now I have to have priorities.
So even now you're struggling with this. It's not completely. It's probably better, but it's not. You're still struggling with accepting the whole motherhood.
No, not really. The thing I struggle with right now is like my identity outside motherhood.
Outside motherhood. Yeah.
So so girls should like you first have to accept yourself. Like you can't go back.
Yeah.
So when you accept yourself in that role, that's when everything starts to flow, because now you learn to prioritize, you learn to focus on the right things. You will lose friends. Oh my goodness. Don't even get me started on that.
Wow.
That's why like most mothers are advised, get friends who are parents, because they understand the dynamic. Remember, you're changing. You're not the same person.
Yeah.
And like your friends won't understand. So let me give you an example. Maybe your friend group wants to go to a hidden gem, and you're a parent. You have to prioritize time. Like my friends would invite me places and I wouldn't make it.
Yeah, because you're a parent now.
Yeah, my friend would like, I have a friend who like literally like blocked me. So me, I'm worried, like she's like my best friend, like where is she? And then I'm asking around, watu wananiambia hata mimi sijaongea na yeye. So later, like I asked her childhood friend, like, have you spoken to this and this person? And then she's like, she sends me screenshots what my friend says.
Yeah.
So she says she was along the lines of like she told me something and I acted nonchalant about it. But in real sense, on my side, I am overstimulated. Like, like in parenting, like not every day is like, even when you see us laughing with Tafari, it's not that like that every time. Yeah. So she was like, I don't care about her anymore, nini. And I'm like, I am struggling on my side.
Yeah.
I made time to talk to you,
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, it's okay. Friends come, life is moving. Yeah.
Unfortunately, your friends couldn't understand your situation.
Yeah.
So now you've struggled with losing friends. You've struggled with shame. Now you're mostly on your own, or do you start creating your own support system of other parents? Have you met some other parents who are young, or do you now seek older people? How is that dynamic?
Okay, I had friends, like for example, I had a friend who we were on the same journey. Like we were not friends initially, but during COVID, when COVID happened and we went home, somebody added me to a mom group, a mom to big group from Machakos. So that's where like we started becoming friends. And we were like her son is literally like 1 month older than my son. So we were along the lines of motherhood. And I also had another friend who like just became like a mother out of like those people you don't expect. So like most of the time I was like, if she made it, then I'm going to make it.
Yeah. That's amazing that you also found other friends who you can now relate to more, and that's the beauty of life. People will walk out of your life and you'll get other people who will support you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now Tafari is growing. What was the most rewarding part of watching Tafari grow as a young mom?
I think watching him like take his first steps, like I remember, like I'd never forget. Like I was just sitting there and he takes his first 3 steps and I'm like, oh my God, this is it.
Yeah.
Like I've been looking forward to this because, you know, like now in my head I was like, if he starts walking, then I think tumetoka like the your stage ya dependency sana now you know when they start working next ni put it training nini and then like you make it out to now an almost independent toddler, you know.
Yeah.
So seeing him take his first steps, and actually like I always say like I think like I didn't know I had like motherhood to me was a gift because remember I had 5 months without knowing like his, you know, so it was just meant for me in one way or the other. And the fact that I've aced it so bad, like I've never like struggled with motherhood. That's the funniest part about it. I cry, I laugh, of course, but but I've never like called my mom sijui I'm struggling with this and this. No, yeah. So that's how I know like God had planned this. Like alikuwa amesema wewe.
So you're literally, as much as it's tough, maybe you can tell us about some tough moments you've been through this journey.
Tough moments, maybe like when your child is sick.
Yeah, and you're by yourself this whole time?
Yeah, when your child is sick. Because I haven't, emotionally, yes, like sometimes you'll feel like you're emotionally drained because sometimes you'll sit there and wonder, am I doing the right thing?
Yeah.
And if you let that voice get into you, you'll find yourself even crying like in the house because you're like, oh my God, what if I mess up?
Yeah.
Like those moments, because I can't say I've struggled in any other way, like financially, physically, no, resource-wise, no.
It's mostly been emotionally.
Yeah, like motherhood is...
But you also love it because,
Yeah.
You look like you're really enjoying it.
I am enjoying it because it came, I accepted it, so now I am enjoying it.
Your tagline is, you're growing up together with your son. What made you choose that tagline?
Because I think what most people don't get is like children are real people with real feelings. Like for me, why I say that is because I allow my child to be like me, you know. I don't like ugali. He doesn't like ugali, you know. We are trying to get there together.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
Like he's trying to be like a vocal person. I am also trying to get there because in kitambo I was such a quiet person. So like we are growing together because I got him at 22. I didn't have like time to rediscover myself, to, you know, get there as an individual. I was still basically a child. My frontal lobe wasn't developed.
Even as 30-something, we still feel like we're growing up.
So like we're growing up. He's growing like on this side. Na pia mimi, I am growing as a person, as a mother.
So how did you create that bond? Because I swear you look like you have the best relationship, like a bond, a friendship, like you people can talk about anything. Did that come naturally, or is that your personality just showing out even in Tafari?
It came naturally. But I think it's mostly from how I grew up. You know, like my mom was strict. So like I don't want like Tafari to feel like I'm being overly strict on him. And I want like to those, you know, those mother-son relationships where your son will tell you anything. He will express himself freely. I don't want in the future until he gets a girl pregnant and he hides it from me. I want us to solve this problem together. So it starts here. And then it also comes with what I said, like acknowledging children are real people with real feelings. Like I'm not the kind of person like to tell a child like lazima ukule hii, you know.
Yeah.
The same thing, there's something you don't like, there's a food you can't take because you don't like, so why is it different with children? Why do we feel the need to force them into something, into becoming someone? So I just let him, because I'm also trying to learn his personality. Yeah.
That's very beautiful. So I've listened to a lot of parents who are single moms or even single dads talking about raising boys. Most people would like to think that when it comes to raising men, a male figure needs to be there. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I kind of think that at some point, because as a woman, like, you cannot understand everything.
Yeah.
At some point, Tafari will maybe have to go through the rites of passage. I am a woman. I don't have brothers to start with. So you see, like, in such instances, like, I remember even like when he started using like the toilet, I was wondering like, where do I start? You know, you don't know things like those. Even like I've seen people, there's someone who commented on my video that women cannot raise boys. I was kind of offended because he was saying that because we were freely talking, like we were freely having a conversation. But I think the main reason why they should have a male figure is to learn how to be men. Yeah.
So do you have a male figure in his life who is helping him navigate, or at what point do you plan to introduce a male figure?
He does. His dad is there. So
his dad is there.
Yeah, so when he goes, spends time with him, you know, you'll notice even the small things in boys. Like when a boy is playing, like atakuja atakurukia, you know, he'll want you and him to fight, to play football, you know. Yeah, so like he has his dad to, you know, navigate with him. Yeah.
So but how is that co-parenting situation? How did you navigate through that and coming to an agreement on how maybe to co-parent as you are right now?
At first it was difficult because you know, like, men sometimes he'd be like, how am I going to spend the weekend or the week with the child alone? And you know, you cannot be there, like you have things to do on your own. Yeah. So but it eventually like started, you know, we started like 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, so now up to 2 weeks. They'll stay together. Tafari actually loves spending time with his dad. You know, men are not strict. He'll drink soda every day, every hour. And like us, like he'll drink soda, but you have like your limits, you know. Yeah. So he's there. They're doing wonderfully. Like they have a beautiful relationship.
Oh, that's amazing. At least you have a male figure and a support system even in your father's child-like side of the family. Do your uncles maybe try to step up as well, or?
I would say mostly because of distance. Because we are all the way in Machakos. Everyone else is in Nairobi. I don't know where. So mostly distance-wise, but they'll call. They'll do my uncles now, Tafari's grandfathers. Yeah, they'll be there for him. They'll take him for rides, you know. Tafari is into cars, so when like we're with my uncles, he loves those rides, things like those. So he's getting every perspective. If I'd say that, mother, father, uncles, aunties, grandmothers, grandfathers.
Would you advise other single moms to also make sure, because for you it kind of came naturally that your family was involved and both also the father's family or the dad is involved? It's not always the case for most people. What would you advise people who don't actually have that? Maybe, I don't know whether to call it a privilege, because sometimes it is. Having a support system is not always available for everybody. what would you advise them?
Okay, I'll speak on mostly the father relationship. Like, I also struggle sometimes because I think single moms, and especially in this generation, we're so focused on money. Like, you want your child's father to send money, to pay school fees, to do what. But I struggled with that initially. Then I was like, they have a beautiful relationship. Like, sometimes he'll not have money and I'll be okay with it.
Yeah.
So long as you've spent time with your child, you know. Like, sometimes it's good to cater for your child's needs. And especially, you know, the funniest thing you'll find, like, most single moms struggling with co-parenting, the children actually do have a good relationship with the father.
Yeah.
But because you want so much for the father to pay school fees, you overlook the emotional needs of this child.
Yeah.
So sometimes I think, for me, I ignore sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll even pay school fees. And I'll be okay with it because he's been there as a father. I like to say, like, there's a difference between, like, motherhood, fatherhood, and parenthood.
Yeah.
Parenthood for me means the financial aspect, the discipline aspect, but fatherhood, motherhood means the nurturing aspect for me. So I'd like advise single moms, if the father is willing to be in their child's life, don't be so you know, jatuma pesa sijui nini so muoni, you know. Yeah, just let them. Yeah.
Well, that's actually a very, very beautiful take that you said, that parenthood, motherhood, and fatherhood are different. You view them as different. I really love that. Now, I feel like you're actually like really, really wise. You've really grown up, honestly. How would you say motherhood at such a young age has changed you as a person?
It has changed me, like, significantly. Like, kitambo, I'd not be on the go, but now, like, if an issue comes up, I'll be so proactive to change it, to look at how it affects others. Like, I don't just make decisions. So I think I am more nurturing now, even with friends, even with people like I know. I think I've become, like, so much of an empath after becoming a mother, because like I put myself in that person's shoes. When if to say me, like, somebody's facing issues, I'm like, if my son faced such issues, I'd feel so bad. So I've become more of an empath. Yeah. But I've also, like, ignored myself so much as a person. I won't lie.
Wow, maybe tell us how. First of all, why is it that you've neglected your self-care right now? And do you think you need to do better? Do you plan on doing better on taking care of yourself?
Yeah, I do. I actually think that's, like, the biggest thing now I need to work on this year, because my life is like Tafari, Tafari, Tafari. Even when I'm deciding what to eat, Tafari, Tafari. Like, what about me?
Yeah.
You know, like, what about me as a person? Like, just going out the house without Tafari.
Yeah.
You know, making friends, socializing, buying myself stuff. You know, people actually say, like, when you're a mom, you'll be in the streets and you'll not even see something for yourself.
For your child.
Yeah, you'll only be like, hey, I need to get this for Tafari. So, like, this year, one of my resolutions was actually tapping into my feminine self.
Yes.
So, like, I wanted to, like, you know, be cute, get dresses, listen to soft music, you know, things like that. So that was my way of tapping into now growing myself as me.
Yeah.
Maggie, not Mama Tafari. Yeah.
How is that going?
As you can see, I am not in a dress, but it's coming along. Like, I think the fact that I identify it as an issue and it constantly, like, rings in my mind, I think I'll eventually get there. Like, I'm not pushing it down, like, we'll try out next time, napana. I'm still working on it.
Do you feel like you're missing out on life in losing yourself into motherhood? Do you miss going? I don't know what did you used to like to do? Going out, partying? Do you miss those things?
I did a lot of those. Oh my goodness. But I don't miss like going out and party. I still did when Tafari grew older because I have like a babysitter. Najua watu watasema, oh, nini, nini. But once in a while, you feel the need to like let off the steam. But now, like this year, like I finally outgrew like the partying phase. This year, I actually haven't gone out to a party, and I don't feel like I need to. But sir, I want to go like to social events, go, I don't know, golfing, sijui nini. I don't have the funds for that, but like such scenes now, polo, fashion events, like daytime festivals, vitu kama hizo.
Dating, are you ready to go back into how is that? How do you feel about dating and bringing a man into your life again?
People will disagree with this, but I wouldn't, like, I have struggled thinking that I'd get there. Because on one side, remember Tafari really loves his dad. Even if we came with him, he'd be like, Daddy, this, unajua daddy alifanya hivi, unajua, like there's that side. And then now imagine, like, you come, start living with another man, and he has to, like, live with that. So me and his dad, we are still trying to work it out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool, because at the end of the day, if the issues are not big issues, there are things that can be resolved. There's no reason why you can't grow up in a 2-parent household.
Yeah.
Especially, you see, they have that bond already.
Yeah. I think, like, I'd be so selfish just thinking that I need a man, I need to date, and then there's Tafari. You can't just, before you get to the right man, imagine how many wrong men you'll have to, like, deal with on Tafari's side. You think somebody is like the right person to step into fatherhood, then he changes when you date, and then Tafari has to deal with the trauma, to deal with the denial, like, why are we living with this man? And my dad, so
okay, that's a very interesting take. A lot of people will be like, date, I mean, single mothers move on to other relationships and they work out, but I mean, if you're trying to work things out, why not?
I think you should work things out. Until now, they can't. They're not, like, fixable.
Yeah.
If it's not working out, like, we'll have to be, like, good friends, so that Tafari doesn't have to feel like that gap. Yeah.
Now, question: what is one thing you really, really miss, or you wish you had done more of before becoming a mother?
I wish, like, I had like worked more, like made a living, so that when Tafari came, I'd not have to hustle with him. He'd have to find, like, everything set for him. Yeah.
And in the whole journey, in the whole parenthood journey, motherhood, what has been the biggest, or you can even name 2 or 3 or however many, the biggest challenge you've had to go through as a mother?
I think just emotionally. Like, I haven't struggled financially, resource-wise, physically. Because when I got to motherhood, like, I realized I have to push myself. So sometimes I have to work day and night continuously just to make that money. So that section is catered for, but emotionally. Some days are hard. Like, especially when they're in school and then they're not in school. I know many moms will relate. So you'll spend the whole day just mom, like, you get overstimulated, and then you're like, you start feeling so bad. You start beating yourself up about it. Maybe at some point he was just like, mom, and then maybe you reacted, like, So such things.
Do you ever go for therapy? Do you ever?
No, I haven't actually, because I don't have many of those days.
Okay.
Yeah. It's mostly like the first 3 days when we spend the whole day together, and then we go back on track. Because like school these days, I was used to having him home. Then there's that caprice when your child, you love your child, but when he goes to school, you get to you get that break. You get to get things done. But when he's at home, he's very needy. Like children, like Tafari will tell you, "Mom, I want to eat this." Then you'll make it, and he'll not eat it because he wants to see you on the go. You'll go sit on the seat, and he'll come. He wants to see you moving. Like most people, I know most moms like relate to this. Like when you're relaxing,
there they come.
Like, please. I saw a meme, some mom screaming, so she was like, "Ati, it's their child, bring those toy phones for them to answer like the 900th time because the child is telling them that this is for you." So you'll have to keep saying hello, keep the conversation going. Unakaka kidogo anakuletea tena hello. Oh my God, you get a lot of those.
But it's only for a phase when they are toddlers, right?
I don't think so.
No?
Because I think every stage has its needs. I saw a video like when moms think that they've gone through the toddler stage, then comes the preschooler stage. After the preschooler stage, there is like adolescence, like it just goes.
They're adolescent, they don't want to see you. At least that's what I was like. I was like, parents, not cool anymore.
I know. I remember I was like, when my mom tells me something, I'm like, why? Like, oh, Jui, najua. So there's that phase. I think that should be the worst. But the toddler stage is like, hey.
A few more years of that, and then he'll cool down, I think.
Right now we're at the preschooler stage.
Yeah.
So the preschooler stage is like questions like mbona? Why?
Which is a good thing because it's just showing you they're trying to understand.
Yeah.
And they're learning.
True. You answer questions. Mom, kwa nini hivi na hivi na hivi? Mom. So you'll answer questions on end. Yeah.
Do not tire. So you had mentioned that you're considering being done with having kids.
Yeah, I'm not considering.
You are.
I have made my decision.
Tell us why you made that decision. What made you feel like, hey, I don't think I can have another one?
I think like my journey getting there, like emotionally getting there, I kind of think like if I had another kid, I'd go through the same. And I think, how people tell you like, unajua mtoto anafaa kuwa na sibling. I think people get it so wrong. Like a child doesn't need a sibling to be happy. He needs a stable mother. So for me, I think going back there will take me to a place of instability.
Yeah.
And then I'll have to struggle now parenting another child. And when you get to that point, you'll struggle even parenting the first one. Yeah. So there's that, and there's also like I think with one child, like I can give Tafari the world rather than have to share resources between children.
I mean, valid.
Yeah.
Then what's a misconception about single motherhood that people like to have that you would like to debunk?
I think people think, like in our generation, single motherhood has been like portrayed like so happy, so like winging it, right? And I think most people think that single mothers do that to prove a point, when it's really not. Yeah, like you've seen many single mothers on social media, like they're making big moves, they're happy, and people think they're trying to compensate for the lack of something else. Yeah. But for single motherhood, I think you just learn to be an all-rounded person for your child. And when you've healed, then everything just flows. Like, you'll glow. Utaglow watu waseme, the whole time you're not even bothered, you know. Yeah, so there's that.
That's nice.
And also thinking that single motherhood is tough. It's really not.
Oh, really?
At least for me, I don't think it is.
Yeah. Why would you say so?
I don't know. because from my experience.
Yeah.
I don't know what, by the way, let me not say it's not tough, because I don't know what people have been through. Yeah. From that point of view. But yeah.
From your experience, it has not been.
It has not been tough. Yeah.
Is that because of you have a support system? Is that because basically you've not lacked financially resources?
I think
you say that's the reason why?
It's a little bit of everything. And also, Tafari has been like an easy child to parent.
That's key, I think.
Yeah.
I think that's key because it's obviously different if maybe you have a child with disability.
Yeah.
Or a child.
That's so selfish of me not to think about those.
Who's crying a lot. You know, some kids are just fussy and you don't know why. Yeah, so anyway, but it's good that you're showing it doesn't always have to be tough.
Yeah.
It's something that is manageable.
Yeah, that was the whole point of like my TikTok. Yeah.
Oh, and it's really showing that message very well and clearly. And even as a single mother, it's not that you're saying that you don't need men in your life, because I think a lot of people like to assume that single women are working so hard to provide for their kids to prove a point that they don't need men, but that's usually not the case.
Yeah.
It's just maybe the nurturing nature of a mother that they just want to provide for their kid and make sure he has everything.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just comes naturally. Like, you not want your child to lack anything.
Yeah.
Like, I was actually, I always tell my friend this. Like, someone will think that, oh, you have so much money, that's why you are living in a good house. But one thing I always tell my friend is that I want my child to think this is the life he's made for, you know. He shouldn't have to know, like, there's another side of life.
Yeah.
You just know you're living well. I might be struggling, but I will never show you. You know, I just want you to live comfortably, to know, like, this is the only side of life.
Yeah.
I'll tell you about other things. Like, me and Tafari, we like go back and forth, because sometimes, like, when his clothes like get small and I have to give them out, he'll be like, "Kwa nini? Nini?" But yeah, I'll have to show him there's another side of life, but he will not have to experience it personally. Yeah.
That's a very good thing you reminded me, that you and Tafari really talk a lot.
Yeah.
And you don't talk buju and you know you have real conversations, like almost adult conversations. And I think that's really important. As you said before, they're their own people and they're trying to develop their personality, so it's like super key to talk to them, like, and try to help them understand life at whatever stage they are. Maybe they can't understand everything, but try to explain to them what they can.
Yeah.
What is your greatest fear as a parent or as a mother?
It's like obvious, like losing your child. Like, when I scroll through TikTok and I see like people losing could mean death, could mean losing, you know, court battles. I don't know if in Kenya there's child protective like services, but all those stories, like they really scare me. Yeah.
That's an interesting take. And then also, what would make you feel like you failed as a parent? What would happen to your child that would make you feel like a parent, as a parent?
I think if he went through something and he felt like he couldn't come to me and tell me about it, you know, because that is like the pioneering thing in our like parents child. Like I want him to feel safe, so if he did, I think maybe he doesn't feel safe with me. He doesn't feel comfortable with me. Yeah.
But I would like to imagine as a boy mom that is bound to happen because there are things that will be happening in his body
Yeah.
that you may not understand, and he needs a male figure.
Unfortunately. Unfortunately. But I mean like big stuff, like emotionally.
Yeah.
Imagine if he messed up somewhere and then he'd be like, "Ai, mi siwezi pigia mamangu. Let me call my grandmom." You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. The thing you did to your mom.
Like, let's say those are lessons learned. But I think like parents, like we parent differently based on their experiences. Maybe my mom parented us like that because maybe she had her own fears. You know, there's something she had a certain vision.
Yeah.
You know, so I can't really say that's bad parenting. That's the best parenting she could give us at that time. Yeah, because these days she's not like, you know, we're adults, so yeah.
Well, now that you've even mentioned fears, because we as adults, we like to project a lot of fears onto kids. What's that one fear you think you're trying to protect them from, but you're actually like projecting to them?
Is there one? I don't think I can think of one right now. But I think maybe in the same line, like of strict or gentle parenting, like I think sometimes you could overdo the freedom you give your child. Yeah.
Do you discipline him? Do you chapa him?
I actually do, but I feel so bad. Like, now that's the worst thing about me. Like, if I discipline him and he cries, like I feel so bad, and then I'll end up hugging him, telling him sorry. So I don't know, we go back to zero. Yeah, that's something I struggle with. That has to do why I did say that. Yeah. Because seeing your child like heartbroken, you know, children, they look you in the eye and then he'll start crying. So he'll make sure you feel, yeah, so such things, yeah.
And then a lot of people in society would say you're babying him and you're raising him to be soft. What do you have to say about that?
I know anyone who has watched our TikToks would know, like, I have been trying to teach Tafari what is right, what is wrong. So he knows where we'll have a conversation and I'll tell him doing this and this is bad manners. Every morning before he goes to school, he knows we're supposed to pray. He knows, like, I tell him, when you go to school, when teacher says this, do this. Don't go fighting, don't go. So he knows what is right and wrong, and I'll keep like drawing the line between what is right and what is wrong.
Now that you've even mentioned that, I was listening to a podcast of men talking about growing up with single mothers. And one of the guys said that the one thing that really worked out between him and his mother is the fact that even when she didn't know what to do, she just prayed for the son, and it really made a whole difference in his life growing up. So I don't know, maybe it's something to take home, that even when you don't know what to do, just pray to God about it to help him.
Yeah, true. I think it's important, like, regardless of the, you know, these days there's so much spirituality. I think it's important as a parent to do so.
Are you religious?
Yeah, I am. I am. I'm actually Catholic. You've seen my house, so there's a crucifix on holy water, all that. So we're on that path.
And as we wind up, what is one message or something you would want Tafari to forever know?
I would want him to know, like, I love him so much. Okay, that's like the obvious, but I went through so much for him. I actually, when I got pregnant, I actually told God, you have decided I'll be a mother. I will play my role, but please, like, walk before me
Yeah.
in every aspect. So I wouldn't want him to think that because it was like an early pregnancy or, people like to say unwanted, he's not actually unwanted.
Yeah.
When I found out I was pregnant, I was scared of telling people, but anyone who knew me then would tell you, like, I felt like I was very happy.
Yeah.
I used to post on my status, like, my pregnancy journey. So I actually was waiting for him. I used to, like, think about what he'll look like when he comes, what it will be like. So I'd want him to know that he's not unwanted.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was like a planned child. He was not planned, but
he was loved.
Yeah, he is loved, like, in the same measure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I think that has been a very insightful episode on single motherhood, because a lot of times we hear about the negative, which is okay because all our experiences are different. So it's really nice to hear a different perspective. And thank you so much, Margaret, for coming here to share your story. If you'd like to come and share your story, I'm gonna leave my email on the screen and down below where you can reach out to me. You can also reach out to me in my Instagram DM if you'd like to share your story. And please remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. Your journey is your journey. We are not all gonna be the same. Some people have it easier, some people have it harder, and your story is still valid. So feel free to reach out and come share. And also don't forget to engage in the comments and tell us how you've experienced single motherhood. And I think we're gonna end the episode here. I'll link Mama Tafari's, Margaret's TikTok. Should we do Instagram as well?
Yeah.
And her Instagram and all her social media links. I'm gonna link them down below in the description box. Make sure you go have some laughs and enjoy real comedy from Tafari and the mother. And bye. We'll see you on the next episode.
Bye.